Welcome to the Health Revolution, the program that shows you how to have a life of vibrant well-being. In a world full of noisy health trends, we bring you clarity. We reveal the science-backed strategies that truly work in a sea of fads. We explore the physical strength, emotional resilience, and mental mastery. These are the keys to an enriched life. Join us for inspiring interviews with champions who've conquered life's health challenges. Are you ready to unlock your potential to live with vitality and purpose? Then join the Health Revolution. I'm your host, Adriana Morrison, health and fitness expert, speaker, and a mom who understands. Let's embark on this transformative quest. Together, we're about to change the game starting now. The information provided in this show is intended for educational and entertainment purposes only. Viewers should use their own discretion and consult with a healthcare professional for personalized guidance and recommendations. Welcome, everybody. You are watching the Health Revolution, and we are so excited you're joining us today. I'm your host, Adriana Morrison, and no matter which way you're tuning into us, please do not forget to hit the subscribe button. We always want to stay connected to you because our show is growing and we've got incredible conversations to have. At the bottom of your screen, you will see a little tab for show episode notes. Please be mindful of that. There's some impactful information for all of us to partake in. And getting right into it, of course, you know, as our journey continues to grow, when we apply the physical, the mental, and the emotional mastery and resilience in our life, we can't mistake the one of the top areas in life that we have to master, and that is sleep. And so sleep deprivation is ever apparent through society. It doesn't matter how old you are, even to the itty bitties. And so the newborn babies and families who are growing, sleep deprivation is an issue to the point where it can be chronic. It can be a chronic issue that just affects so many different areas of your life. Today, we're going to talk about, for families who are impacted by sleep, by little ones, how we can get behind it. What's the source? What are some practical areas that we can address and utilize the right resources and tools to really be set up for success? So we are getting quality sleep no matter the age in the family. My guest today is someone who's incredible, amazing, and she is all about the receipts in this subject. First, take a look at this. Meet Shani Avidar, an infant and toddler sleep coach, lactation consultant, and dedicated mom of 3 children. Shani's journey began with the birth of her first child in 2019, when balancing a career in finance and family life became challenging due to sleep deprivation. Through extensive research and personal experience, she discovered the transformative baby-led sleep approach, which deepened her connection with her children and boosted her confidence as a mom. Now, with her full-time dedication to sleep coaching, Shani is passionate about supporting parents in teaching their children to become better sleepers, ensuring the well-being of the entire family. Today, we are talking about how to make sure parents and little ones get the sleep they need in even the toughest of sleep situations. Shani Avidar, welcome to the show. How are you?
Thank you. It's so good to be here.
You know, I love the fact that this is your area of expertise. And at what point in time, going backwards, was sleep deprivation such an issue that you literally had to stop in your tracks and address it and take things head on?
So, before you become a parent, you have that vision of what parent you're going to be like. And my husband and I always said, well, we are professionals. We're not going to let a baby interfere with what we like to do, with our schedules, with our full-time jobs. And once we had our firstborn, we were both working full-time and we were exhausted and we couldn't handle just, going to the office and handle a newborn and not sleep. And you get so much information during the prenatal stage, but nothing includes sleep. So you basically start the parenting journey, especially moms, after caring for 40 weeks, you started exhausted. and you don't know what to do. You come back from the hospital and you're supposed to be knowing what to do, but nobody talks to you about sleep. And I was working at the financial industry at the time. And I remember thinking, oh my God, this is crazy. How am I supposed to handle a baby and managing a team? And I started researching, and slowly I learned some tools, and my baby was sleeping, which was great. I have three little ones, and I literally was pregnant for 3 years. So not only did I need them to sleep and want them to sleep, but physically I was exhausted and mentally too. So, um, like I do in life, I like researching, and I decided that I'm passionate about sleep and I wanted to help my friends and other parents to learn the tools that I learned. So I started looking into it and I ended up getting certified as a sleep coach. If you don't know, the sleep industry is not regulated one. So basically anyone could claim that they are sleep trainers. But because I come from the financial industry that is heavily regulated, I wanted to do it the right way, and I ended up getting certified. I also got a lactation consultant certification, just to better understand breastfeeding moms and help them in that department. And that's how I started my business. I was doing it parallel to my banking career for a few years, and then I just decided to dedicate my full time to helping other parents, and it's been very rewarding.
And when you became a mom for the first time, what kind of support did you get from in terms of prenatal and then postnatal? So what was the general rule of thumb? What were some things that maybe that the nurses said that were maybe protocol that you soon learned was not protocol with sleep?
So during the prenatal stage, you get to learn, like, about diapers, wipes, um, just like what kind of products you need for the baby, how to do a CPR, but nothing related to sleep. And for postpartum, it's really mom related, like how to recover after you have a baby, if it's just a C-section or a vaginal delivery, and nobody talks to you about sleep. So basically, sleep was never mentioned.
And so how many hours does a newborn and an infant need to be rested? And where is the deficit? Like what has been the trend that we see here in the United States or just globally?
So basically, in the first 3 months, we're slaves to their needs. All they do is eat, poop, sleep. And every about 2.5 to 3 hours, the baby needs to eat. So most of the day, most of the night, it would be every 2.5, 3 hours. And I always like to manage expectations because nowadays with social media, the pressure is high. And pediatricians and social media kind of like create that illusion that once your baby hit the 3 months, 4 months mark, you should sleep through the night. And in reality, that doesn't happen. Maybe 1 out of 10 babies would do that. So I always like to tell moms, just be prepared. In the first year, there are so many milestones and developmental milestones, especially, that you need to be prepared for the first 3 months. Every 2.5 to 3 hours, you wake up and feed the baby, change their diapers, and then you start putting them on a schedule. And once you do that, you teach your baby healthy sleep habits, and they gain tools to basically learn how to sleep. Imagine a baby was in the womb for 9 months, and literally they were able to sleep whenever they wanted. They were able to eat whenever they wanted, and now they are dependent on external resources. So basically, they not only they need to adjust to the outside world, but they need to learn how to sleep, how to eat, how to be dependent on others. And it's hard life being a baby, if you think about it.
I remember, so I'm a mom of four, and I just remember the very first time I became a mom and how sleep deprived and sluggish I was. And you are right in that I remember the preparation to become a mom. I just remember that the language that was told to me was, it is what it is, that you're just not really going to get sleep. How much of that is true? And where is it that, what are things that parents can do in those very, very beginning stages? Because it's not just mom, but of course it's mom and dad. And
Right.
so how do you distribute the handling the pressures of becoming a family with a newborn?
So, first of all, you need to educate yourself. And I always suggest in the prenatal stage. So, you are prepared. And then, once you're mentally prepared to be awake every 2.5, 3 hours during the first 3 months, and you start um, setting up the structures and giving your baby the tools, then every month it gets easier. So, at the beginning, your baby starts on a 3 nap schedule, and then they go down to 2 nap schedules, and then at around 16 to 18 months, they transition to a 1 nap schedule. And in reality, around the 8 month to 9 month mark, your baby should sleep through the night. And once you know that, you can manage your day accordingly. So I always say it's about sleep that I coach parents about, but we also want to make sure that mom and dad take care of themselves, that they have time to do their self-care, that they have time to go out on a date, that they have time to work out, to do whatever fills their cup.
So for
So
you, so for you, I'm curious, when you first became a mom, did you go back to the industry, or was that the last time that you were in the industry? Did you try to integrate the two of
yeah,
returning to work, and what was that like for you transitioning into a working mom after becoming a brand new mom?
so I worked after I had maternity leave. That was pretty much 3 months, and then I went back to the office. Luckily, I mean, remote work started. So with my first one, I was in the office, and it was hard. With my second and third, I was working remotely, which was great because I got to spend more time with them. And actually, I was at home, even though I had help, but I was managing the day. So I could control the naps and the feedings and the activity and nutrition. Everything is related to sleep, so I could work from home. And after my third was really, around 6 months, that's when I decided to just leave the financial industry. But with my first three, I was just working full time in the financial industry plus building my business.
So, but part of it, of course, because COVID had happened, right? So then it was after
Right.
2020 when two and three were born. And so then that helped to create greater flexibility. And did you find that you had more power that you had more control over how your day was, and it wasn't so as much pressure from work? And so you were able to rest more? Were there some things that you experienced during that time?
I think because I knew what to do and I had a schedule, I could plan my day. And I'm a type A personality at work and in life, so I am a planner, and I need to know what is going to happen in order to stay calm and be in control. So for me, for example, I always say if I can work out every day for 2 hours, I can do anything in life. And I needed that. So I made sure it happened. If it was during nap time, after the kids went to sleep, before they woke up in the morning, but I knew their schedule. And then the more you're consistent and predictable, the more kids will sleep. So
How hard
that
how hard is it for women who become moms, and then maybe if you could talk about older moms that maybe they have their first maybe late mid to late 30s, and possibly even in their 40s, what are some things that you've noticed about sleep affecting women in that situation?
So I think nowadays, many women become moms later in life. I had my first when I was 37, and that's also the age that your career is really taking off, and you want to invest time, and you want to, show up and perform at work. And when you're sleep deprived, it's really hard to do it. And I know dad is also part of, the newborn stage, but it's mostly moms that either breastfeed or wake up at night, and dad helps, but it's mostly moms, and that takes a toll when they need to show up and perform at work. And we see that there is a lot of performance issues when women go back to the office from maternity leave and they need to perform, and that affects promotions, salary increases, and then we start talking about the differences between men and women in the corporate world, and it all comes from sleep deprivation.
I tend to wonder with so much demand that is often placed on many women, the ability to hold it together at home, becoming a mother, and helping to take care of the home by line of work outside, and that stress is compounded by her being aware of all the things that she needs to do. How much of that stress factor is impacting her sleep, even if she knows she needs to be getting her sleep?
Right. So basically, kids also mirror their parents. So if you're stressed, whether it's about sleep or performance at work, then your baby senses it and then they will not sleep. So even if you are stressed, just a tip for any mom listening, if you are stressed, when it's time for bedtime, nap time, take yourself out of the stressful situation, fake it till you make it, and you stay calm. Even if it means put your headphones and listen to a podcast or music or something that relaxes you, and just try to stay calm, and that will help your baby fall asleep.
When you've been talking to moms as you've stepped into this role as an infant and toddler sleep coach, how much of what you were hearing was perhaps a level of urgency of I am not getting enough sleep. I don't know what to do. Even in conversations with friends or colleagues, how much of that did you hear of, oh my goodness, I'm just I'm dragging. I have no energy.
Yeah, I hear it all the time. And some of the moms or dads even that I speak to, and they have toddlers that are older, even like 2 or 3, and they never reached out to a sleep coach. They're still struggling versus moms that come to me when they're pregnant or in the newborn phase and they learn all the tools, then they don't get to experiment all the issues and struggles when their child is older. And I hear stories like parents driving their kids around in the car to fall asleep, or walking in the strollers miles and miles. And I'm like, no, this is not healthy for
I
you.
never did that.
Yeah, and you shouldn't. And, and when you're sleep deprived, you fight more with your spouse, you don't take care of yourself. It affects every aspect of life, basically.
And it begs the thought of when we're sleep deprived, because no matter the human, sometimes we'll make impulsive decisions. Like sometimes we're grabbing things to satisfy. Suddenly, sugar cravings are spiking, or we're just kind of grabbing and going, and so there's almost seems like we're starting to run on fumes. And you've seen that when is that a characteristic that you've seen with women with families who have worked with you?
Yeah, because now you don't have time to work out. You're so exhausted. You don't want to cook, so you're just eating garbage, and so you are sleep deprived. You're eating really bad food, so you're gaining weight, and that you are depressed, and hormones are all over the place. So that's how we get postpartum depression.
And this is something I definitely want to dive into. We're going to continue the conversation. First, we're going to take a commercial break. We will be right back. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back after this. Hi everyone, welcome back to Fit Bites with Adriana. Today let's talk about simple stress reduction techniques to help you stay calm and balanced. Life can be very hectic at times, but there are easy ways to manage stress effectively. First, try deep breathing exercises. Inhale slowly through your nose, hold for a few seconds, and exhale through your mouth. Repeat this several times to calm your mind and your body. Another great technique is practicing yoga or stretching. Now, these activities not only reduce stress, but also improve flexibility and strength. Even just a few minutes a day can make a big difference. Taking a short walk, especially in nature, can help clear your mind and reduce anxiety. Physical activity releases endorphins, which are natural mood lifters. Don't forget the power of mindfulness. Spend a few minutes each day meditating or simply sitting quietly, focusing on the present moment. Now, this can help reduce stress and improve overall well-being. Remember, managing stress is essential for maintaining a healthy lifestyle. Incorporate these simple techniques into your daily routine and feel the benefits. Stay tuned for more Fit Bites with Adriana. Welcome back to the Health Revolution. Our guest today, Shani Avidar, she is an infant and toddler sleep coach. We are discussing the prevalent issue of sleep deprivation, especially for growing families. We've got newborns who are now part of the family. And what do we do when sleep deprivation is beginning to be an issue for everyone, and your quality of life is being affected? And so, Shani, before the break, you talked about the different elements of how a woman is affected, how sleep can affect her. It sounded like more of a domino effect, that one thing leads to another, that sort of thing. I'm curious, you and I had talked before, and you shared about the baby-led approach to sleep. Can you share a little bit about that to our viewers? What does that mean for those of us who don't know, and the difference between that and other sleep approaches?
Yeah, so there is basically many sleep training methods out there. Many of them require, leaving your baby to cry in their crib, and that is not something I am comfortable with. And I'm big on communication with adults and with kids. And the earlier you start, the better communication and better communicators you create, basically. And when I came across the baby-led sleep approach, I kind of I loved it. It's more psychology related. It doesn't involve crying it out, because basically when you have a baby, you want them to be dependent on you. You don't want them to be independent when they are 3, 4, 5 months. Um, and now when I coach parents, we talk about all the tools that involve psychology. What you say to your child affects them. It affects their sleep. It affects the way they behave. It basically creates a really strong bond between mom and baby and dad and baby. And I think that is very important, because it creates trust. And when your baby trusts you, they just behave and sleep better.
Yes, take us through what are the components, the characteristics of, can you break down baby-led approach? Like, what is it, a certain way that you hold the baby? Is there a certain time frame? Like, what would be an example of a baby-led approach scenario?
No, it's the words that you use. It's
Words. Okay.
nutrition. It's setting, schedules and structure. And like I said previously, the more consistent and predictable you are, the more your child learns to trust you and expect what to come. So there are certain tools that we just psychology related. So the way you talk to your child and explain to them what is going to happen, what's our day is going to look like, even when they are 3, 4, 5 months, you talk to them like they're adults and they understand. And that way you also stay calm, because when you talk to yourself and you repeat things and you kind of like, okay, this is what we're going to do. You create a plan in your head. So you know what to expect too as a overwhelmed newborn mom. So that creates like a reality. And the earlier you start, the better, because that's you practice, and that's how your child learns to communicate and trust you and understand what the day is going to look like. And then you don't have to deal with the difficulties of the toddler's life.
So when a baby is being, and I'll say crying, maybe not necessarily fussy, because I know that that can be different interpretations. That baby might be uncomfortable or that sort of thing. What sort of parameters do you tend to embrace, even though there's several different approaches? Is there a certain time frame that you like to give when a child is crying, and for the parent to pick them up within a certain amount of time, given the moment they know that they're crying? Or what are some things that you like to do to show soothing, and but it doesn't necessarily, how do I say this, maybe coddle on the extreme terms of like giving with no structure? What are some of your favorite practices?
So it really all depends on the age of the baby. So like I said, in the first 3 to 4 months, take all the cuddles you want and can have, because you are not going to let a newborn cry. And then you start introducing them to a schedule and routine. So you do want to cuddle them and comfort them, and but you also want to talk to them and explain to them. So now we're going to take a nap, and it's gonna be an hour and a half. After a nap, we're gonna do this and that, and you explain to them what the day is gonna look like. And if they cry, you can go and pick them up. And the older the child gets, you if you start earlier, then they're not going to cry that much. And you are allowed to go and pick them up and pat their back and soothe them, but don't rush into it, because sometimes babies do cry. And um, when we talk about setting boundaries, people often think, okay, let's just talk about not touching electricity and not eating dessert before lunch, dinner, but it also comes to crying. And when you set boundaries about around crying, then you kind of like set the time frame for you that it's you're comfortable with. And moms know their baby the best. So if you see your baby's crying, after 1 minute you can go inside and comfort them. After a certain time, you see that the baby might not need it. So you just it's all about how the baby reacts. You have to be adaptive, and you also need to remember that everything is temporary, and every month pretty much it will change in the first 16 to 18 months, because the
So So I know that you and I talked before, and full disclosure, I with my kids, I did do the cried out method, and it was something that I noticed that they were, I didn't struggle. Eventually, that they, within a very short amount of time, they ended up falling asleep. Now I know that you have mixed feelings about it, and that that's not necessarily your preference. Can you share concerns of why cried out just is something that maybe is not for every parent, and the concerns that you have with that?
Right. So, like I mentioned before, in the first 16 to 18 months, there are so many changes and developmental milestones. So, basically, if you just parents think that if they leave their child to cry it out, the child learns to just fall asleep on their own. But that's not true. Basically, what they learn is that their parents are not coming. And, there could be a few reasons for a child to cry. It could be teething, it could be illness, they could be hungry. And imagine you came back from work and you had a really awful day and you wanted to tell your spouse about it. And you just finished dinner, you took a shower, and then your husband tells you, well, you came home, you had dinner, you showered, go to sleep. There is no reason to cry. There is no reason to vent. And that's the same what you're doing to your baby if you just leave them to cry it out, because they are experiencing so much in the first year or so that they're allowed to cry. It's okay. And you're there to comfort them and teach them how to fall asleep. Sleep is a skill.
I remember doing that after burping and changing diapers and all of that. And at the time I was told that it was the thing to do. And so that was my decision making process of, well, I'm helping them along. And what would you say in the case of a colicky baby, or in case of what are some best practices when a baby, either a newborn, a 6 month old, what have you, is just struggling, and maybe the discomfort is seems like it's lingering longer and a much more chronic basis, and the parent is talking to the pediatrician? What are some of your best practices that you like in those, that you like to handle in those conditions?
So first of all, I want to go back to, it goes to the prenatal stage. If you decide not to breastfeed and you have to pick a formula, there is not enough information to actually talk about the ingredients in formulas. So there are so many formulas out there, but 99% of the American ones contain cane sugar. So basically, you give your child sugar. So the first thing then when I talk to moms that want to give their child formulas is, let's talk about which one you choose to make sure your child doesn't end up colicky, gassy, or just, eat good formula. Like, we want to eat healthy food. You want to feed your child healthy formula. Um, and then, there are massages that you can do, there are exercises that you can do, there are gas drops that I recommend, because why would they need to suffer? Same with teething. There are things you can do to help your baby go through it.
And so then with colicky, with what have you, you did mention the formulas, and I'm glad that you brought that up, because there have been recent studies, especially in the last decade or so, where it has been revealed that, yeah, sugar has been found in formulas. And it's not necessarily something that is brought to our attention as parents, and so it's more of a discovery in the aftermath of, oh my goodness, this was an ingredient. And so it's very unfortunate. But I do like how you're mentioning, be a little bit pickier about which ones you go with, and then the ingredients and all of that. Let's talk about postpartum depression and the role that sleep has on women in particular. I will tell you, with myself, I experienced a small bout of that when my second was born. And so she was born. I went through a period of that, but there was a lot of changes behind the scenes that were happening that was leading to that. What are some things that add to a woman's tendency to experience postpartum depression and her inability to get good sleep? Where's the disconnect and then the correlation between the two?
Yeah, I mean, when we have a newborn, imagine you have one that you don't sleep because, it's the newborn stage and you're adapting. But what if you have even multiple kids? And then you need to address different schedules, you need to attend to multiple kids, and that's hard. And not all parents can afford help, and they have to work. And if you live in a warm climate, that's great because you get some vitamin D, you can sit outside. But what if you live, in a very cold climate and you don't get to go outside. So you stay inside, you're exhausted, you stay in your pajamas all day long. And just by itself, it's very depressing. So it starts from just learning what to do. And I know, some sleep postpartum depression is hormonal, and that, it happens. But with sleep, you can also control that hormonal imbalance. So once you learn the tools and how to do it, prepare for it, I think that is crucial.
In the case of the mom who the new mom or even the older mom who's feeling overwhelmed, what are some things that you have seen in your studies that dad can do to help out, even if he is going hard in the paint at work? So say just work is an area where he has to be dedicated. Where are some moving pieces that he can help, even on a small scale, to his partner, to the new mom?
So when I work with my clients, we actually use that a lot because most babies will react one way to mom and a different way to dad. So some babies would nap amazing, and then at night they would kind of like cry more because mom is there and they kind of like manipulate her. But then we use dad and we ask dad, okay, can you go at night? And that changes everything. And sometimes from like a 30-minute rocking and cuddling, it goes into like 1 minute of, okay, I don't need that now. And that's helpful. And you have to talk to your partner. You have to um, delegate if you feel like you don't want to. I use with my husband, I tell him, I need a break, take over. And sometimes I see that he needs a break and I tell him, I can handle, just go. And that's helpful. Just ask for help. I think that's the main thing. And in the past, most people used to stay around their families where they grew up. And nowadays, most people just leave home when they are 18. They go live in different states, different countries. Me, for example, my family is in a different country. So I don't have family around me to support. And support is so helpful. So you need to make sure you have the people you trust to help you go through parenthood, basically.
And you bring up a good point about asking for help, because I think that sometimes it seems that there's that percentage of moms who don't ask for help because maybe it's not exactly how they would do it, or maybe another reason might be because she doesn't want to bother anybody, or that maybe she feels like she needs to be able to do it all. So what would you say to that mom who is in that predicament of, I know I need help, but what would you tell her?
Yeah. So I would, because I do see many moms that, they have, even if they have family around them, sometimes they don't have the same parenting style as their in-laws, as the parents. So think of one area that you can ask for help, that you are comfortable asking for help, whether it's, grocery shopping, cooking, just staying at home while the baby naps, go do your nails, whatever helps, and stick to that. You don't need help 24/7. You just need one thing, and think what helps you. Each one is different.
And I think I love how you say that, because not only should it be that women should be able to ask for help, and hopefully no woman feels like she has to ask for permission per se, because that's never the case. It's that village lifting up that family and being supportive to her, and all of that. So I think that that's incredible. What's one thing you found? What has been your takeaway with amplifying sleep and making sleep a top priority?
I think just to be able to plan my day and spend more time with my husband, because at the end of the day, I always tell him we're parents and we love it and our kids are great. We want to stay married at the end of the first year. So we have to do what we love to do and go back to, when we were single and did some things together, just us. And it's so important. I'm not just talking about date nights because most parents are just tired at the end of the day. But just, you know, we work out together. We make sure we do things that we like to do together, and just being able to sleep makes so much difference. For me, I wake up early because I know my kids sleep until 7:30, so I can work out in the morning, and that pretty much opens up my day, puts me in a better mood to start the day, and I have patience for the entire world that way. So I can do anything. And I feel like that's what puts me at ease, just knowing that if I want to do something, I know at what time I can do it. And that has been the case since they were born because I knew at what time they would nap, what time they would go to sleep. And even if I knew that I needed to wake up at night, I knew that it would be once, twice, or three times, depends on their age. So once you're prepared, I feel like that's, a game changer.
Absolutely. We're going to take a commercial break. Stay put. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back after this. Thank you so much for watching The Health Revolution. Our show is growing, and it's all thanks to viewers like you. No matter how you found us, please hit the subscribe button so we can stay connected and continue to deliver amazing content to you.
Introducing Launchpad, the perfect partner to help you launch your dream project to the world. We know that time is of the essence, and we're here to help you make the most of it. With Launchpad, you'll get access to the most advanced digital tools and strategies to take your idea from a mere concept to a fully fledged success. Whether you're an aspiring entrepreneur or a seasoned pro, we have everything you need to make your mark in the world. Launchpad, your ultimate launch partner.
We can take our own health into our own hands. Okay, so we'll kind of expand on that. So I take a lot of vitamins every day. Long before I started this business, my wife has had me taking my vitamin C, my B complexes, amino acids every single solitary day, and I still do, even though I still do IVs as well. But when you take vitamins orally, you get 15 to 20% of them. Some people get less because they have autoimmune issues. Some people have a lot of inflammation issues, whatever the case may be, so they don't get the absorption that they need to be getting. So they don't get their immune system built up. Doing the mobile IVs, I'm able to take your immune system, I'm able to naturally boost it.
Welcome back to The Health Revolution. We're spending quality time with our guest today, Shani Avidar. She's an infant and toddler sleep coach. We are talking about the importance of tackling sleep deprivation so that the whole family can thrive and be able to just navigate through life a whole lot better. And Shani, I'm curious, what is your take on the importance of consistent sleep for families with toddlers? And what are some hacks, practical steps that families can do to ensure consistent sleep with toddlers? Because those years are a challenge.
Yeah, so consistency is key. I can't even say, like, it's so important. So your child needs to know what's going to happen every day throughout the day. From with my kids, they are 2, 3, and 4. I tell them in the morning, today there is school, there is camp, it's weekend, what we're gonna do, what they're gonna wear, what we're gonna eat. In the evening, I tell them what we're gonna eat the day after for breakfast, and that way they know what to expect. And they know, for kids in general, they don't know the difference between naps and nighttime. So when they go to sleep for like an hour or two, it's different than when they go to sleep for 12 hours. So for them, when they know that they are going to see me in 12 hours, they're not scared. So I eliminate the night wake ups, and they know that mommy and daddy are sleeping in their room, and there is no reason to be scared. There is no reason to cry, and but you have to start it from day one, and then you they learn how to behave at night when nap time comes and just throughout the day.
So parents having a consistent schedule, not keeping them up late at night, not taking them places where they don't have that consistency is something that obviously is a key element to helping them be better able to fall asleep, stay asleep, and that sort of thing.
Yes, and
Yeah.
even when you go on vacation, you stick to the schedule. And life happens, and sometimes you can't. It's fine. A day is not going to change anything. I recently went to Israel, and there is 7 hours difference. So there is jet lag involved. There is a 13-hour flight. My kids were not affected. We went there, we took a nap, and that's it, and they slept great for the whole time we were vacationing, and same when we got back, nothing happened.
That's excellent. I want to talk about how the different ways that you currently work with families, with moms, with couples, newborns, that sort of thing. I want to bring up your information now, and now you do you work in person or globally? What does that look like, and what's your onboarding process when someone is just when you're talking to someone who is struggling with sleep deprivation and their parent?
So I do one-on-one coaching worldwide because everything is virtually. When I onboard a client, we start by a 15-minute complimentary discovery call, I like to call it, that parents tell me about what they are struggling with, about their baby, about their parenting style, and I tell them about myself and my approach and my process. And if we start working together, I send them what I call an intake form. And that's a very detailed form that basically gives me all the information about their parenting style, their lifestyle, the supplements they take. I want to feel like I'm living in their house. So it takes them some time to fill it out, and I ask them to give me feeding logs of the baby, sleeping logs, and I just analyze everything, and we work together to create a personalized sleep plan, and we adjust some of the things that they do if needed. Most times they are needed. We talk about nutrition because nutrition is very powerful when it comes to sleep, and many parents, even though they are aware of nutrition, when it comes to their kids they kind of forget everything. So we talk about that. We talk about the psychology and the tools that are involved in sleep coaching. um, and on top of one-on-one coaching, I do workshops. So I like to have the newborn sleep basics and transition into a sleep schedule. And basically, I work with moms of newborns. And I have another one that is sleep prep for expecting moms. Basically, I try to incorporate sleep as part of the prenatal education process to better prepare moms for when they come back from the hospital and need to take care of a newborn. So I try to do at least once a month, some in person and some are virtually. So I have clients from all over the world pretty much.
And I could imagine that that you would work with parents who are in the example of maybe there's an age gap with kids where they became parents and then years have gone by and then here comes another one and then suddenly they feel like a new parent all over again just based on what the circumstances. And so you've worked with parents in those situations too. Is that right?
Yeah, I recently even had a client who had her fourth child, but she had three girls before, and now she had a boy, and it's like she didn't know anything. So we had to work on everything from scratch, which was great. I mean, she learned now she has a boy, and now if she has more, she knows what to do. And I had clients that for 2 years did not sleep because their child was horrible when it comes to sleep. And they didn't even think of having another child. But after a week with me, they got pregnant. So, yeah. So it's, you have to start early. You have to educate yourself. And I think it's just a game changer.
Absolutely. We're going to take a quick break. Stay right there. We're coming back. Okay. All right. So we're going to go ahead and come back, and then we'll do final edit on that. All right. We're coming back. Okay. So in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back, everybody. My guest today, Shani Avidar, she's an infant and toddler sleep coach. She has been sharing some important information for sleep-deprived families, those who have newborns, toddlers, and beyond, and all of that so that we can get quality of sleep. Shani, where are you in the virtual space?
Well, I'm all over. I'm on Instagram under my little dreamer _coach. I'm on Facebook, my little dreamer. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on YouTube, but I have my website, and everyone that wants to talk to me, I have my phone number there and email, and feel free to reach out.
Now, you have 2 websites, correct? You have My Little Dreamer, and then there's another website that, can you tell us a little bit about that, about Well Me Right?
Yeah, so the Well Me Right is a wellness platform, and they reached out to me asking if I would be part of the platform as an expert. And I offer packages through their website as well. So this is my profile on screen, and you can, get my services through their website as well.
So one last thing. So what would you say to the mom who is feeling a little bit defeated? She's kind of tired. She really wants to get it together, and she just doesn't know where to start, but feels like she is not getting rested at all. What would you tell her?
Reach out, because it's never too late to start. And I always say within 2-3 days you see improvement, and it changes your life, because once you sleep, I know they say little kids little problems, big kids big problems, but I feel like when you don't sleep, you can't even handle the little problems. So you have to take care of yourself and your sleep and get your mindset, and that's how you can take care of a newborn or a toddler. You just need to learn the tools for that.
Absolutely. Shani Avidar, infant and toddler sleep coach. Thank you so much for spending time with us today. I appreciate you being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
And for all of our viewers, our website, of course, you can find us on the web at thehealthrevolutiontv.com. You can subscribe to our newsletter. You can certainly email us with any show episode ideas that you have in mind. Upper left-hand corner, you will find our QR code. You can certainly grab that in a little quick fix. And then, of course, every single Tuesday and Thursday, you can find us on the Achieve TV channel on E360 TV, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. That is all the time that we have. Until next time, take care of yourselves. We will see you soon.